Welcome to War Bios, the podcast where we delve into the fascinating stories behind the world's most pivotal battles. I'm your host, General Biography, and today we're exploring one of the most iconic naval engagements in history, the Battle of Jutland. This epic clash between the British Grand Fleet and the German High Seas Fleet took place on May 31, 1916, during World War I, and its outcome would forever alter the course of the war. As we set the stage for this pivotal battle, let's journey back to the early 20th century when the seeds of conflict were sown. The North Sea, a vast expanse of water separating Britain from Europe, had long been a critical theater of naval operations. The British Navy, with its centuries-old tradition of dominance, had maintained control of these waters for generations. However, the rise of Germany as a major naval power in the late 19th and early 20th centuries threatened to disrupt this balance. In the years leading up to the Battle of Jutland, several key events set the stage for the impending conflict. In 1904, the British and French signed the Entente Cordiale, a series of agreements that marked a significant shift in the balance of power in Europe. This rapprochement between Britain and France created an opportunity for Germany to challenge British dominance, as it no longer faced the threat of a unified European opposition. As we explore the earliest history of the Battle of Jutland, we find ourselves in the midst of a high-stakes game of naval diplomacy. The strategic location of the Jutland Peninsula, which juts out from Denmark into the North Sea, made it a crucial focal point for naval operations. The peninsula's proximity to the British and German coasts allowed both nations to project power into the region, making control of the seas around Jutland essential for securing trade routes and protecting national interests. In 1912, the German Navy introduced its first dreadnought battleship, the SMS Friedrich der Grosse, which was quickly followed by the launch of several more vessels. This expansion of the German fleet sparked a corresponding increase in British shipbuilding, as both nations sought to outdo each other in terms of naval power. The British Navy, under the leadership of Admiral John Jellicoe, responded to the German challenge by developing its own dreadnoughts, including the iconic HMS Iron Duke. As tensions escalated, both nations began to deploy their fleets in the North Sea, engaging in a series of cat-and-mouse maneuvers designed to test each other's strength and resolve. The British Navy, with its long history of dominance, was confident in its ability to maintain control of the seas, while the German Navy saw an opportunity to challenge this supremacy and secure a strategic advantage. One notable example of these pre-battle maneuvers took place on August 28, 1914, when the British Grand Fleet clashed with the German High Seas Fleet off the coast of Heligoland. Although the engagement was inconclusive, it marked one of the first major naval battles of World War I and set the stage for the larger conflict that would unfold at Jutland. The years leading up to the Battle of Jutland were also marked by a series of diplomatic crises, including the Agadir Crisis of 1911 and the Balkan Wars of 1912 to 1913. These events further heightened tensions between Britain and Germany, making war increasingly likely. As the two fleets converged, the tension was palpable. The British Grand Fleet, under the command of Admiral John Jellicoe, consisted of 151 ships, including 28 dreadnought battleships, while the German High Seas Fleet, led by Admiral Reinhard Scheer, had 99 ships, with 16 dreadnoughts. Despite being outnumbered, the Germans were determined to challenge British dominance and secure a strategic advantage. The battle began at around 2000 p.m., as the two fleets engaged in a series of skirmishes and maneuvers. The German fleet, attempting to lure the British into a trap, began to retreat towards the coast of Denmark, hoping to draw the British ships into a killing zone where they could be attacked by German U-boats and torpedo boats. However, Admiral Jellicoe was aware of this tactic and refused to take the bait, instead opting to maintain his fleet's formation and wait for an opportunity to strike. As the battle raged on, both sides suffered significant losses. The British battleship HMS Invincible was sunk by a German salvo, resulting in the loss of over 1,000 lives. Meanwhile, the German battleship SMS Lutzow was severely damaged and eventually scuttled by its crew. Despite these setbacks, the British fleet remained intact, while the Germans began to falter. One of the most critical moments of the battle came when Admiral Scheer attempted to cross behind the British fleet, hoping to escape the trap that Jellicoe had set for him. However, this maneuver exposed the German ships to a withering broadside from the British battleships, which inflicted severe damage on several German vessels. As the sun began to set on May 34, 1916, the Battle of Jutland was all but over. The German high seas fleet had suffered significant losses, including 11 ships sunk and over 3,000 casualties. The British Grand Fleet, while also suffering losses, had maintained its dominance and secured a strategic victory. In the aftermath of the battle, both sides claimed victory, but it was clear that the British had emerged as the dominant force. The German Navy would never again challenge British supremacy in the North Sea, and the Battle of Jutland marked a significant turning point in World War I. As we reflect on this pivotal moment in history, we're struck by the bravery and sacrifice of the sailors who fought and died at Jutland. Their actions, though often overlooked, played a crucial role in shaping the course of the war and securing the Allied victory. In the months following Jutland, the German Navy became increasingly cautious, hesitant to engage the British fleet in a major battle again. This allowed the British to maintain their dominance of the North Sea, ensuring that vital supply lines and trade routes remained open. The Germans, on the other hand, were forced to rely on U-boats and torpedo boats to harass British shipping, which ultimately led to the resumption of unrestricted submarine warfare in 1917. The Battle of Jutland also had significant implications for morale and public opinion. In Britain, the news of the battle was met with a mixture of relief and disappointment. While the British fleet had emerged victorious, the scale of losses suffered by both sides was staggering, and many questioned the strategic value of the engagement. The German press, on the other hand, claimed victory, but the reality of their defeat soon became apparent as the war effort began to falter. As we examine the long-term consequences of Jutland, it becomes clear that the battle marked a significant turning point in World War I. The failure of the German Navy to challenge British supremacy at sea meant that the Allies could maintain their naval blockade, crippling Germany's ability to import vital supplies and goods. This, combined with the entry of the United States into the war in 1917, ultimately sealed Germany's fate. In the years following World War I, the Battle of Jutland was subject to intense scrutiny and debate. The British Admiralty faced criticism for its handling of the battle, with some arguing that Admiral Jellicoe had been too cautious in his approach. The Germans, on the other hand, were forced to confront the reality of their defeat, which led to a fundamental re-evaluation of their naval strategy. Today, the Battle of Jutland is remembered as one of the most pivotal naval engagements in history, a testament to the bravery and sacrifice of the sailors who fought and died at sea. As we reflect on this epic clash, we are reminded of the enduring importance of maritime power and the significance of World War I in shaping the modern world. From the strategic implications to the human cost, Jutland remains an important reminder of the enduring legacy of World War I. That's all for today's War Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, I'm General Biography reminding you to keep marching toward victory.